Hello there out there in UVG land. Sam Bowden here. I've got Angela Rowe from Bellrock Insurance here. Thought I'd just shoot this little video, just go for a few minutes to give you a bit of an understanding around Bellrock Insurance and why 25% of UVG members have moved from whoever they were currently using as insurer across to Bellrock Insurance. And the feedback that I get is often a little bit of surprise from members, often when they're getting comparison, because they come back and go, I've seen a large number come back and say there's 50 to 80% savings on their premium. So some clinics that were paying $25,000 come back with a comparative quote of $5,000. And Andrew, like when that sort of thing happens, you get the old, oh, it's just too good to be true, right? So your brain goes to, and this is the feedback I get, straight away they go and try and find the problems with the policy, go, it must be a substandard policy, I'm not insured. Or service is obviously crap or poor because it's, you know, how could it possibly be that much difference between what I'm currently paying with a service that I've been quite happy with and, you know, you as a new service or new to them, although you've been in the vet space for quite a long time. How is there so much difference between the policies?
Thanks, Sam, and hi, everyone. Being a broker, Bellrock broker, we are not actually the provider of the insurance, so we negotiate on our client's behalf, so your behalf, to create a package that provides the cover that meets your exposures. And because of that, we have access to all general insurers that use brokers, and that creates a bit of competition. There's many direct insurers out there that don't use brokers; they transact with businesses directly. Yeah. And because we have access to insurers, there's a lot of them out there willing to work with us to develop these packages. So with the vet practice, we've come up with a package that meets the insurable needs of the businesses.
So really, it's because we had 320 practices or whatever it was that you could go back to the insurer on behalf of those clinics and say, look, there's potentially quite a lot of business here, but look, you're going to have to sharpen your premiums down significantly for us to say yes and give you the tick approval.
That's exactly right, Sam. That's it. The insurers that we've approached have really gotten on board because for them it's it's business and clients to them, and we've done a bit of behind the scenes research to obviously make sure that it's a good risk for the insurer, and they also look at it as a package. All the clinics that come on board, they're looked at as one collective client to the insurer. So another reason it can be cheap is that if one of those practices has a small claim, it doesn't really impact on the whole because there's a big premium pool there. Right. With businesses that have a direct policy with an insurer, a claim can impact their premium quite a lot because there's not other businesses that come under the same sort of banner, I suppose you could say.
Right, okay. And I understand the other thing is by just moving, so, I know the excess on claims can be, $250 or $500. By increasing that up to, I think it's $1,000 for this policy.
That's right, $1,000, yeah, that's another factor because it just knocks out those smaller frequency type claims, and it helps the business to, I suppose, self-insure those losses that are under, which we find means businesses can be a little bit more, they don't want to incur those losses themselves. So we find sometimes their risk management practices can be improved because they have to fund those under deductible losses.
But also, as I understand, when we look at the number of claims that clinics make, it's not that high really. So, that difference in premiums really, that difference in excess is neither here nor there really, is it?
Yeah, it's more just the insurer. The insurer has a better attitude. They say, well, we're never going to be paying out those, $500 or $750 losses. So that to them it's seen as it helps them to bring the premium down because they're never going to incur those losses.
And if you can save 80% on your premium or 50%, you've got to do a lot of claims to catch up that extra few $100.
That's right. Yep.
So let's just want to talk now about when a question I get asked, and I'm sort of asking the questions that I hear from members, so I can hear from you directly. Professional indemnity, so that's included in the policy, and if so, how's that? When something goes wrong, a client says I'm not happy, how's that handled?
So professional indemnity is included in our offering. There's three main policies that the majority of members that deal with us take up, and that's the property insurance, the public liability, and professional indemnity. Yeah. And so collectively, we that's how we generate the saving. And so the professional indemnity insurance, we generally find that we're building good rapport with the clinics that we're providing the cover for. So usually what would happen is they'll contact us if they suspect something might be an issue in the services that they're providing, or alternatively, if a customer makes a complaint against the vet or the practice will contact us, and we'll give advice in the very early stages. And if it's something that should be notified to the insurer, we basically will be the client's advocate, so that the business's advocate. So we'll notify the insurer. The insurer will generally provide fairly quick responses, and we have good follow-up systems in-house so that we're making sure the claim is ticking along nicely and that it's not being delayed.
So you actually speed that process up for the vets on their behalf?
Well, yeah. So basically, the claims, I guess, have a process, and they'll follow their right course. But we monitor what's happening. We have our own claims database system, so we're tracking what's going on. If we feel there hasn't been any action on the claim, if we feel that a response was due to the practice from the insurer or from a lawyer and nothing's been forthcoming, we will follow up and find out what's going on. And generally there's a reason, but it just helps. I find that helps make everybody accountable. That if somebody misses an email, we're here to say what's going on. So.
Because I think that's one of their concerns, the vets, is that, if they're moving, now I'd be the same if I was moving my insurance to a new insurer. I'm like, ooh, what happens when a claim comes? And so knowing that, you've got someone that's there. I know the turnaround time, I've heard from practices that have actually put in claims have been blown away at how fast that turnaround time was. And I guess that's probably testimony of the fact that you guys are driving that process for them. Now, tell me one thing, when it all goes pear-shaped and it's not, it's not just a case of payout every time. So I understand that if they go, no, this is a defendable thing, that the insurers themselves have a team of solicitors they'll appoint on behalf of the vet, not the insurance company. It's on behalf of the vet themselves.
That's exactly right. So it's the insurers panel. So they select the insurers, they select the solicitors they are comfortable to use. But that solicitor then represents the practice. Yep. And we then are allowed to have direct contact with that solicitor to keep track of things, to, talk through things, to maybe get a bit of a, an agreed process together. And if we feel that something should be defended, and if the practice feels it should be, then that's the way we would progress it. So we certainly wouldn't just let the insurer and the solicitor come up with a figure and settle it. Obviously, that's what the insurance is there for if a settlement needs to be reached. But of course, we'll make sure that doesn't happen if that's not the best way forward. And of course, by getting onto it early and having that solicitor that the insurer appoints, those legal defence costs are covered from the first cost, obviously subject to the deductible. But that's the way it would work. And as I've mentioned, we having us on board, we advocate for the practice.
Yeah. And so I understand your history too. Like, you work sort of largely in the vet space, but also in the childcare space. You manage about 500 for G8 childcare. So really in that sort of, I guess, the service, the caring service industry, I guess. So I'm imagining it's probably a similar thing. Really, we often say that people's pets are pretty much like their children anyways. It's probably the same thing. But good to know that it's not a new. I mean, you've been in the vet space for quite a long period of time, so it's not a new.
Yeah. No, that's right, Sam. We have, and also in our sort of broking expertise, that helps us to, it's one thing arranging the cover, which we're confident is right. It's in our experience to negotiate the rates and negotiate a claim time. We've certainly got the experience there to do that.
Yeah. So look, and so if you're listening, what we've found is my suggestion to you as a UVG member, for Pete's sake, just get a quote. And why? Because my financial model is just how can we make your business run as efficiently as possible? And I go, if I can get a great insurance cover and they've already been tried and tested, it's not some dodgy backstreeter. So we know it's got a tried record and we know the response times and things like that. And my suggestion is do it. Initially, what we're doing is you had to fill out, those lovely big forms that I completely hate, which is about that high. So what we've decided is that they'll do just an indicative quote for you. So literally, you send through your current policy and just your, what was the other thing? Just the estimate of annual revenue. Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
Right. So your turnover and your practice estimate and your current policy, email it through, and there's an email address set up just for UVG members. So it's just uvg@bellrock.com.au. So they have one person at Bellrock called Joanne who deals with all the UVG stuff. So there's someone you'll be able to go to and talk to if you want to go through. Once they've done that indicative quote, it's really so you can have a look at it and go, look, is there savings here? Does it make sense to do it? And it hasn't taken a bunch of time. If you're then going to go down the track and saying, yes, I want to go down this insurance path, then yes, you're going to need to fill in that form that covers, how much you want in each area, which is all just part of the process. But let's make it simple up front, that you can see if there's sense. If you can save yourself, 30 or 50 or 80%, well, my suggestion is you do it, because my experience has been that, Bellrock are a company that I'm very safe to promote based on their performance I've seen with clinics that have had claims and put them through. Anything else, Angela, you want to say out to our little UVG gang out there?
I think the only thing to add was just the sending through your current policy schedules. We'll then do a little bit of a comparison. So when we come back to you with our quotes, we can highlight, what we're offering and how it's similar and how it might be different. So you can sort of understand, what's different, and if there's anything that we might be offering that's better, or if there's anything that's you might have, and we say, well, this is not usually covered and this is how we can get it covered. So it's a good way for us to do the full comparison for you, rather than just give you a price.
And just out of interest, who would there be, like if they've got questions and queries around it, is it Joanne that they talk to?
Look, I'm happy for them to contact me in the first instance. Joanne would usually, she'll probably monitor the inbox. Joanne's very efficient, so she'll get onto that quoting process straight away. And any questions, it'll either be myself or Joanne, but I'm happy to be the initial contact for discussions and questions from the members.
All right, cool. All right. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it. You're busy. Great. And thanks for your time and looking. I hope if you're out there and you're watching this, take the time, do the exercise, and hopefully you'll go. Great. That was a good, worthwhile exercise.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, everybody. Bye.